It was 2019. This is Nate Roman, a perfectly average family man, carrying the universal male burden, coming home every day to the horrifying sight of unwashed dishes and an unmade bed. But today, Nate's usual dread vanished, only to be replaced by a very different kind of fear. The front door, wide open, his 5-year-old son's room, sparkling clean. Every other room and even the bathroom, spotless. The toilet no longer bore any trace of last night's tacos. The bed, folded tighter than a hotel commercial. Nate rushed to check his belongings. Everything was still there, not a single thing missing. Nate's conclusion, incredibly logical. Someone must have broken in by mistake and accidentally cleaned my entire house. People usually break in to steal, but Nate, he became the first man in history to be forcefully sanitized. If I were Nate, I'd sleep with the door wide open from now on, just in case the mystery break-in maid comes back to wipe down the windows too. On a day that was neither sunny nor rainy in India, this is Santosh Lohar, a 35-year-old railway worker from Bihar. While he was peacefully napping at the worksite, disaster struck. A random venomous snake crawled out of nowhere and bit him on the arm. But instead of panicking like a normal person, Santosh woke up, grabbed the snake, and bit it back twice. The snake was so shocked, it dropped dead from disbelief. Why? Because in his village, they believe that biting the snake back will neutralize the venom. After this bold counterattack, Santosh was rushed to the hospital, thankfully. He survived and made a full recovery. His story quickly went viral. People were amazed. Snakes probably traumatized. Santosh became a local legend, the man who bit the snake. In India, not everyone fears snakes, but snakes now fear Santosh Lohar. Moral of the story, if you see a snake, just run. Don't be like Santosh Lohar. On a beautiful day in India, this is Rahul, a 20-year-old young man, handsome, strong, and full of life. He was preparing for a grand wedding with Shivani, a sweet, innocent girl. Everything was ready, the dress, the venue, even the pink invitations for the neighbors. But if it were just a normal wedding, we wouldn't have this video. Instead of going to the altar, Rahul decided to run away, just days before the big day. And not alone, he ran away with his future mother-in-law, Anita Devi, a 40-year-old woman, and Shivani's actual mom. People usually marry the daughter. This guy stole the mom. Not only did they disappear, they also took 2.5 lakh rupees in cash and 5 lakh worth of gold. Basically looted the dowry and dipped. The most shocked weren't just netizens, but both families. They couldn't believe this Nolan-level plot twist was happening in real life. They had no choice but to report the lovebirds and try to recover the money. Whether they get caught or not, I don't know, but I'm sure Shivani is not okay. Moral of the story, never elope with your future mother-in-law. James Brown is a 26-year-old man living in Northumberland, England. On one calm, storm-free night, his house began billowing smoke like a dodgy backyard barbecue. After receiving his emergency call, the fire brigade rushed in and promptly put out the fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The flames were doused. The mission complete. Everyone went home as the firefighters headed back, probably wondering what they'd have for breakfast. James picked up the phone again. His house was on fire again. The brigade returned, sirens blaring, hoses at the ready. But something was off. Turns out James wasn't your average fire victim. He was obsessed with firefighters. He had a long history of calling emergency services without any real emergency. James didn't care about football. He didn't fancy pretty girls. No, his life's purpose was simpler, watching firefighters spray water. That night, in a fit of firefighter-fueled ecstasy and dopamine deficiency, he decided to set his own house ablaze twice. Thankfully, authorities figured it out before James moved on to a third meeting. He's now received a suspended sentence for arson, but something tells me his passion still burns bright. This is Igor Smirnov, 22 years old, living in Moscow, part-time online salesman and full-time dreamer of becoming a legendary thief. One fine October morning, he suited up for greatness, code zipped, fake gun loaded, and mindful of movie high scenes. His mission? Rob a bank. His plan, flawless, until it wasn't. Igor strutted into a Sberbank branch with full confidence. He handed the teller a note saying, "Give me the money or I'll kill everyone." And just to make sure no one mistook him for an amateur, he also handed over his passport. Yes, his real passport, with photo, name, address, the whole deal. The bank employee took one look at the note, one look at the gun, and passed out cold. Igor, panicked by the sudden collapse, grabbed the cash and ran, but left his passport sitting proudly on the counter like a guestbook signature. Police didn't even need to investigate. The ID did it all after 2 months of hiding. Igor was arrested and charged with armed threats and attempted robbery. A harsh lesson for young Igor: if you plan to rob a bank, maybe don't start by handing them your full legal identity. This is Gordon Pierce 3, yes. The third sounds fancy, right? Well, don't let the Roman numerals fool you. Our man Gordon isn't a duke. He's a dude with a $20,000 drug debt and the boldness of a man who clearly said not to common sense. So what's a desperate Kansan to do? Get a loan, pick up a second job, sell rare Pokemon cards? No. Gordon saw an 800-pound historic cannon chilling peacefully in a Wichita park and said, "You're coming with me. War relic. Now." This wasn't just any hunk of iron. This cannon dated back to the Spanish-American War and was worth over $100,000. But to Gordon, it was basically a giant metal IOU. He somehow managed to steal it. How is still a mystery, possibly via black market forklift. Then chopped it up like firewood and tried to pay off his dealer with cannon bits. Yes, actual pieces of an antique artillery weapon, because, apparently, his dealer accepts historic scrap metal as currency now. Needless to say, this plan did not go over well. The dealer didn't buy it literally, and Gordon was swiftly arrested. He now faces multiple charges including theft, criminal damage, and giving American history a bad name. Wichita's still recovering, the cannon tragically dismembered, and Gordon, let's just say history won't be so kind when he's writing his memoirs from a cell block.
This is Matt. Matt is a young man with a deep love for nature, water, and above all freeloading pools. One scorching summer day in Brisbane, while normal people were turning on fans, ACs, or cracking open a cold one, Matt decided to take a different path. He didn't crack a beer, he cracked someone's backyard gate and casually slipped into their private pool like he owned the damn place. Security cam footage showed Matt swimming, stretching, soaking in the sun, and striking poses like Michael Phelps on a yoga retreat. When the homeowners caught him red-handed and called the cops, Matt didn't run, didn't panic. He looked the officer dead in the eye and calmly said, "I thought this was a display home." Ladies and gentlemen, that sentence hit harder than any law book. In Matt's world, if your house has a pool, it must be public property. Elon Musk probably paused a SpaceX launch just to contemplate this logic. The police gave him a warning. The internet gave him a title, Matt the Cool, because even when it's hot, Matt stays cool. Moral of the story: swim once, it's an experience. Swim twice, it's a crime.
Somewhere in the peaceful savannas of Kenya, a crime of epic proportions was unfolding. No, not diamonds, ivory, or even drugs. This was something far more sinister. 5,000 queen ants. Yes, you read that right, minus 5,000 royal bugs to Belgian teenagers. Lornoy and Sepp, let's just call them the Ant Lords, flew all the way to Kenya with one goal: to smuggle out the ultimate insect royalty and probably start some underground and empire back home in Europe. Dressed like casual nature tourists with nets and backpacks, they roamed around national parks, but their luggage, a biohazard. Inside were thousands of royal insects, all prepped for an illegal insect Uber ride. Their master plan: stuff em, sneak em, fly em out. Unfortunately, Kenyan authorities weren't amused. These two got busted red-handed during Operation Queen Ant, and instead of ant farms, they got fined $7,700 each, or face a year in jail. Lesson of the day: never underestimate the power of ants, especially when environmental police are watching.